I'm sitting out in front of AP house to confront him. Today I'm facing my wife's affair partner. 3 months ago, I caught them and questioned her about the affair. She apologized excessively and told me she still wanted to be with me, that she wanted to salvage our marriage, that she wanted to go to therapy and so on. We've gone to couples and individual therapy. She said all the right things outwardly. She loves me and only me. She wants to solve things, she doesn't want a divorce and so on. She granted me access to her phone but warned me not to go through it too closely. She vows on her life that she's on the right track to restoring our damaged trust. But she's still seeing him. I discovered it and kept it to myself. I want to serve her divorce papers tomorrow, but before I'll confront her AP to find out what other falsehoods she's been telling me. I'm sure they've chatted on the phone a dozen times since I informed her she had to go no contact. She insists she hasn't spoken to him, but the phone records don't lie. They text almost every day. She's definitely deleting them since I haven't seen them on her phone. But she doesn't realize that deleting them on her phone doesn't mean they're gone from her iPad. So I'm sitting in a vehicle outside his home right now, waiting for him or his wife to depart for work. If he goes, I'm going to follow him to his workplace and confront him there. If she doesn't leave first, I'm going to knock on his door. Please wish me luck. Update. I'll begin with the previous night. I arrived home from work, prepared supper, and sat down to eat. My wife inquired about my day. Uneventful, I reasoned. That was all there was to it. We ate, played with the kids, and put them to bed as if nothing had happened. She sat in our bedroom with me to watch TV and said nothing, for around 2 hours. After our concerts, she finally said something. I'm going to bed. That was the end of it. There is no conflict. There is no debate. Nothing. She went to bed, and I remained up for a couple of hours playing video games before going to bed myself. I slept like a slug and awoke around 5:00 a.m. I wanted to serve her today since we had a marital therapy session during the lunch hour. I had previously told our therapist what I planned to do, so when we sat down and began the session, I didn't waste any time. I spoke with AP yesterday, I said. Yeah, I spoke to him as well, she says. Yeah, I know, I say. I don't understand it, she says. What makes you think you'd go speak to him? Because I wanted answers to certain questions I had, and you weren't being truthful with me, I said. Oh yeah? She says. So, what did he say to you? Honey, he sold you down the river, I said. What does it mean? She asks. He told me everything about what you've been up to. The skulking around, the clandestine gatherings, calls from the lovey-dovey kind. Everything. She was taken aback. Did he tell you? Yeah, everything? I said. I then proceeded to enumerate all of the facts I already knew about their messages, calls, meetings, dates, hours, and so on. She began to. It's evident to me that although you've been telling me one thing, your actions tell an entirely different tale. So I'm finished. What do you mean you're done? She asks. I deliver her the divorce papers. I'm looking for a divorce. She peered at the papers as if it were a deadly snake in her hands. She then sought assistance from the therapist. How can I repair this? She asks, I'm not looking for a divorce. I'm looking for you. I want to live our lives. I'd want to remain. Do you see where this is coming from? Says the therapist. When your words and actions present contradictory tales, you always trust your actions. It's not the words. Your actions have told me all I need to know, I say. How can we go from here without arguing, hatred, or dragging our children through the mud? The remainder of the meeting went off without a hitch. On both sides, there were many tears. I emphasized how betrayed and outraged I am that she would carry on this affair behind my back, thinking of me as the lovely who would never find out. She sobbed because her whole life, as she knows it, is coming to an end. I informed her that I had shut off her money supply, and that she could hire a divorce counsel with half of what we had. I informed her she couldn't reside in our house any longer. She'll have to stay with relatives or friends. I told her I was done and that there was no way we could reconcile. She sobbed even more. As we went out of the appointment, she grabbed my hand and made one more desperate attempt to win my forgiveness. I yanked my hand away and informed her flatly that I was done with her and didn't want her in my life anymore. She sobbed as she sank to the ground. I stepped out the door and walked away from her. I contacted AP wife and left a message as I drove away from the therapist's office saying, I really need to talk with you. Please call me back as soon as possible. I immediately phoned my attorney and advised her to submit the papers, but to keep the TRO on wait until things became really bad. After I departed, my wife phoned and texted me many times. I let them go to VM without listening to them. As I drove to her parents' home, I felt dead within. My phone rang just as I was about to step in. It was AP wife who returned my call. He said nothing of her. I told her I needed to meet with her in person, and could we meet in an hour? We agreed on a location and time after she said yes. I went straight to her parents' place and told them everything. Her mother instantly burst into tears. Her father sat there, expressionless. I told him that I loved her and tried to make it work, but that I couldn't stand by while she cheated on me behind my back. They were so disturbed that it was difficult to judge their emotions. I informed them that I would not disparage her or broadcast the facts about our divorce around our friends and family, but that they needed to know why we were divorcing. I told them that I don't expect them to support me in this, and I, for one, want them to support her because she'll need it. This everything comes back to my children. If she can't afford a proper place to live, I don't want my kids to spend their time with her in filth. Her parents can and will help her financially. I told them I love them and will miss our friendship. Before I departed, her father and I exchanged handshakes, and I embraced her mother. Then I drove to the rendezvous point to meet AP wife. I'm now sitting in my vehicle, waiting for her to arrive. I want to inform her, show her the video if necessary, and let her decide how to continue from there. I will be there to provide emotional support if she needs it. Nobody should have to deal with this alone. So that was my day. I still need to meet with AP wife, pick up my kids from school, and change my home locks. I had a security system installed at home, so if she decides to steal or destroy anything, it will be captured on film. I'm not too concerned since she is aware of it as well. There will be more. Story 2. Cheated in a cruel way by wife. Hello to everyone. BM31, her F35, we've been together since 2016, and we've been married since then. It was discovered a year ago that she is communicating with someone both online and over the phone. They had not yet met at the time. I discovered the third person and had a conversation with her about how she was lying to me about that individual. Finally, she promised to discontinue all communication, but this never occurred. A few weeks later, they met, went to a restaurant, and began dating. She had just gotten home from work, had a shower, and was on her way to the motel. Guy died from an overdose 2 months later. She was in mourning and claimed to have fallen in love with him. She was terrible. It was heartbreaking to be living under the same roof for the next several months with someone who is the love of your life and is grieving over some unknown person. After she recovered, she returned to Tinder and met a man only for the purpose of having. I do know about at least one. We've had DD for 18 months. She wants to go to therapy with you. We sold the home and are now living apart. For a variety of personal reasons, we are unable to divorce at this time. I want to see regret, and I see some, but not enough for me. She wanted to maintain contact with the man's family since they were supportive of one another after the loss of the guy. How do you define remorse? I'm sorry for the confusion. I'm still devastated. Many horrible things have also happened, yet returning there is hard. Update. Thank you for your suggestions, comments, and ideas. I cherish and admire every one of them. My tale is quite detailed and convoluted. If someone is really moved, I can provide further information through DM. The story is similar to a dark comedy, if someone wants to investigate and make me feel welcome. Update 2. Thank you for DMing me again. Now, I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself here sooner. I'm sure it would be a lot simpler. Instead of simply reading, I'd want to inspire those who are going through a difficult moment to relate their experience here. You are anonymous here, and the amount of energy, love, and true optimism that individuals can offer you is incredible. I appreciate everyone